Hello everybody and welcome. As we end another week of crazy politics and making videos on all the stuff that is just crazy, let's take a break for this Sunday night and let's enjoy a little bit of music that I made and a little bit of video that I made of me training with javelins. Now, my javelins are not sharp, they're not that pointed, so a lot of them are going to be bouncing straight off the ice below this fresh snow that has came on top. And I'm going to be just chilling out, just practicing, getting my stamina up, and as well, because I'm in close quarters and in front of a camera and just training outside and it's dark, I'm not really putting that much effort in tossing super hard, super accurately. I'm just getting the flings out, getting my stamina up, and seeing how it would have been for soldiers back in the day to fight in the snow like this. This is light snow. This is nothing compared to what you can actually get out there, where you can be beneath some crazy stuff, some crazy weather. This is okay, it's mediocre, but still it is a little bit of a challenge, and I could see how soldiers should be well fed, and as well it'll be prudent for them to be close to home. And these battles like this, I would not see large-scale battles, large-scale wars fought in the snow. I'd see it more to spring, but these little clashes and skirmishes would be very popular in the ancient world. And my character here resembles an ancient javelin of Iberia, possibly Aragon, or maybe even the later Catalan companies that would have had the Almodovar, and as well just all over Iberia the javelin was very popular, and during the Reconquista this would have been a very, very good tradition for warfare. So right here I'm just running around doing what I can, getting a feel of the ground, and I'm throwing the javelins. Not all of them land exactly right, but you can see that it is very easy to lose them because when they go in the snow, they somehow travel a little bit further than where they've actually landed because of the ice. They kind of just skip and they start to slide, and you can catch them like 5 feet from the target that where they actually landed. So right here, I do basic maneuvers while I throw my javelin, and I as well retrieve my javelin, throw my javelin. So I try to do this as much as I can before I engage in actual hand-to-hand combat. I pretend that the opponents are very close, because when you throw a javelin from a long distance and you're focusing one-on-one with someone, it's very easy to lose it. So here I pull out my sword, and this time it's not going to be a mace, it's going to be a sword, but I do got my mace with me, my practice mace. So you pretend that you're getting very close to the guy and maybe he has a javelin too, you're trying to dodge, and you're trying to use your javelin and as well your hands in order to deflect their javelin if it tries to hit you. If it's an arrow, you won't want to be this close, you'd want to have more terrain, or you want to act really fast. So I could see how people in Germany or places like that in the north, it would have been more difficult because that's where part of my ancestorship comes. So I just think about that, how effective they would have been with javelins and projectiles, or if they would have even fought a lot like this, had a lot of skirmishes like this, or if they would have just waited to settle their disputes for the spring or summertime. But in Iberia, I would have seen this as being all year round. So if there was snow, they fought. If it was spring, they fought. If it was summer, they fought. If it was fall, they fought. They fought all year round because of the climates that they have there. They're more sporadic, it's more warmer, and as well back in the day where we didn't have all this pollution and all this stuff that is literally making our climate a little bit warmer, and as well destroying a lot of natural resources and forests, and a lot of the climate has just been changing, has just been transforming into something else. I could see back then it being more of a more diverse temperatures than what you see today in Iberia. This right here is a cold steel sword, and I'm using my actual buckler, which I like. I think it's a good piece of art. I think that all armor and stuff from the medieval ages and just any age back then where you actually had to make your stuff, it was really neat. And I end this part of the normal moving segment with a double javelin throw. As you see, I did it a couple times in the film. And And what we're going to do this time is that we're going to move on to the slow motion and see the moves a little bit more closer. Now, of course, this is nothing special. It's nothing special, but to me it's special. To everybody else who watches this, it's just a man running around in the snow, playing with javelins and doing the whole medieval getup. But to me, this is actually a hobby. It's actually something that I like to do. It's cultural. It's like people who go fencing and do medieval sword fighting, like actual competitions and battles and jousting. It's something very cultural to them, and for me it's very cultural. And since the javelin is very easy to make, and you can make them blunt and still take them to the park without stabbing anything, as you can see right there, they just kind of bounce back and forth. It's something that is easy to train with. And over the years I've done this, and people have just watched me do it, and they enjoy kind of circling around. Not when I throw my javelins, because I don't do that like that. I do that when I'm alone. But when I do my sword practicing, or I take a couple of partners with me, we as well used to film. I got a lot of films that I haven't uploaded for this channel, but we do a lot of this stuff, and we actually take the training seriously, and it's very cultural. And a lot of people, actually everyone around the world, except certain cultures, have had swords, have had spears, have had arrows, have had one form of armor or type of shield, have used steel or bronze, anything in a certain way in order to fight. And this is what my ancestors used to use, javelins, which weren't really too crazy. If you got a really nice sword like the one that I'm pretending to use right there, which is actually just a cold steel replica. I got real swords, but I'm not going to take them out like this at this time of night. Well, it's not really late, it's just the sun's going down because it's winter. So the sun goes down where I am very, very, very early. So it's actually still early. Like, people are still at work right now. That's how early it is where I am, but the sun is down. And it's just looks really cool, like the snow's coming down, and I just took advantage like I did last week, and I thought that I would go out there and I would train and I would do my best and just kind of work my stamina. Last week I haven't went out for a while, so last week I had less stamina, I was more tired quicker, and you saw how I was kind of breathing harder. This time I'm more pumped up, like I'm ready to go, because I've been running all week, just kind of been working on my stamina and working on my muscles, and as well at home. And when I got time off, I just kind of practice and do my sword practice and kind of spear thrusting and stuff like that. It's just something I do instead of going to the gym and paying all this money so I can go to the gym and be with a whole bunch of people. I just kind of like doing this on my own, and it builds muscle, it builds a lot of stamina, a lot of endurance, a lot of leg muscles, and you become very lean, very strong, and get like a good core. And that's why I do this stuff. It's not just cultural and really cool and you get in touch, even though I really like making the costumes and making clothes and stuff like that, and kind of trying to mimic the best I can, or try to use kind of like an unorthodox style. It's just like this one hip dude back in the day. The hat is pretty close to something typical worn in that day, and as well the cape, which is very good for deflecting, let's just say, little rocks that people throw at you, like with their, you know, slings and stuff, which can actually cause damage. It can crack you, it can hit you in the hip, it can break your leg, it can, you know, destabilize you, it can really hurt you. So a cape would actually minimize that damage because it's flapping in the air, and it would kind of catch the projectile. If you ever tried throwing a rock at a carpet or like a blanket or something, it actually catches it pretty good. And yeah, and I get the pants and kind of like the stockings and all that, and just some basic leather shoes that I put on that can resemble really any age. They're kind of slipper-like shoes, and as well as the little cape thing that I'm wearing, the shirt, that's actually pretty close in resembling the areas of the medieval period. So I really enjoyed putting that stuff together. It's really something that I enjoy doing, and I don't hurt anybody. It's still, I practice, it's like martial arts. I practice how to throw all sorts of weapons and projectiles, how to use a sword, a dagger, anything, how to block with the shield, and how to get my muscles in tune to something like that. So of course, when I'm making this particular commentary, I'm not scripting anything or really trying to make it special. I'm just really excited that I could do this stuff and I could share it with people and kind of take a break from politics, not just maintain off, you know, talking about all this crazy stuff that just, you know, kind of just makes people's day unhappy. It makes you worry about things. what people got to do nowadays is be able to share things that are positive, where people can do exercise, feel pride, feel like they're, you know, battling, doing something where, you know, they feel manly or girly or whatever they want to do. And at least for me as a man, I enjoy doing this, and this is a hobby I think that more young people should pick up, of course in a supervised way, maybe not the javelins or anything, but definitely some practice swords, stuff like that, how to block, you know, do more than just going in a dojo and just paying like $100 a month to just, you know, do martial arts, which is very effective. But our ancestors, they had ways of weapons training, hand-to-hand combat, even kicks and stuff like that, grapples and arm locks and disarming people. It's very crazy if you actually look at these periods. There was a lot of martial arts involved. So of course, I'm not doing anything crazy. A lot of the time I'm looking for my javelins because they slip right through the snow. It's not always easy to keep track of them. I'm still having fun. I'm still doing it. And I hope that people who are watching this as well can have fun, as well as enjoy my commentary, the little bit I know about history and these periods, to be able to share them. If you look at my first video relating this, I'll put the link below. You can see that I'm actually kind of talking about the history a little more, just making the introduction. But in my older channels, I just kind of did stuff like this, and I always enjoyed doing it. And you know, I'm thinking of maybe starting up a new channel or adding maybe stuff on the weekend like this whenever I can in a positive way, and not hurting myself or hurting anybody else, which is very important when you train with these things and know what you're doing. Don't try this at home for a lot of the things. And yeah, so that's pretty much the training. So I'm just finishing it up here with my sword, more in slow motion. The sword I've really been doing occasionally for quite a bit of years. The javelins, because of the space and as well as the appropriateness of the kind of sticks that you can have and how you build these things and the time that you have in order to go out there and pick the location, the time where it's going to be safe, and you know, it's just going to be like a nice isolated area like we see now, where no one's going to come in my radius, and I know how to throw these things and the limitations of the power that I put into throwing them. You know, it's pretty fun, but I don't get much practice with these things. But the sword, definitely. I enjoy doing that a lot. And the shield, it can be applied to any age. Any age. That buckler right there is one of the oldest things that have been on the battlefield as shields or as protective weaponry. It's so basic. It's so common even to this day. Like it's still pretty good to use in competitions and stuff like that, or when you're training, or any kind of shield. A buckler's pretty good, and I got the one that's, I believe it's about 15 inches, 16 inches. So it's kind of big. It's kind of big for its size, and it's not too clumsy. It's not bad on the wrist when you actually get hit. It's just perfect. I would say that a really small buckler would work, but I like the bigger buckler. But the small buckler, it has its uses, it has its works, it has its ability. But yeah, even with a buckler, you can really hurt someone. You can really, in battle or in war back then, you could do a lot of damage with a shield like that. Nice hit. But of course, these modern things, you got to reinforce the handles and make them like they did back then. Mine's not really that crazy. You're not going to be smashing through any armor with it, nor is it intended to do so. So right there at the end of my javelin, I got the mace ball, makeshift mace ball, so I can actually split my javelin in half and fight with the mace part, which is pretty cool. But this time I just decided to stick to my sword, or my makeshift sword. All of this is technically makeshift, but I went out there and did it anyways. And I think that you guys could do it too, as long as you are aware of your safety and pick a good location that's appropriate, and you know what I'm saying, like you don't do anything stupid. Yeah, it's something good to do. Just make sure that you watch your safety. I can't repeat that enough. But that's how it is, guys. I leave you this video. Subscribe, share, and excuse me if I made any mistakes with my commentary. I didn't really script this down. And yeah, just be safe, guys, and watch out for all the crazy stuff, all the political stuff, and keep your family safe from what's happening in current events, and just do things that are positive. And I hope that this can be a positive influence for young people that, you know, instead of looking at selling drugs or gang banging and stuff like that, why don't you just look into your history and begin to better yourselves? Do stuff that's different. Even if you don't got a good family, a good system, you try to find one and just better yourself, and you will see that it may carry with you for the rest of your life. You may get good at what you do, and it may be good for other things in life too, and as well keep you safe, keep you healthy, and maybe can offer some self-defense in really difficult situations. So for Wise Warriors Path, until next time, take care and goodbye.